Good afternoon. Welcome to the press center of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. And here is our weekly update of the situation in the operations area of the joint forces from 10th to 16th September 2018. During last week, the enemy continued to destabilize situation in the deterrence area of the Russian armed aggression in the Donbass. Units of the joint operations continued to record more violations of the ceasefire by the Russian occupation troops. In general, over the past week, from 10th to 16th September, the Ukrainian defenders' position fell under provocative fire by Russian occupation troops for more than 215 times. Level and the number of ceasefire violations has increased comparing with the previous week. From the beginning of the previous week, enemy continued to violate agreements by using mortars, infantry fighting vehicles, grenade launchers, heavy machine guns, small arms, and other infantry weapons. In particular, from 10th to 16th September, violating Minsk agreements, Russian occupation forces shelled our position near Krymske, Luhanske, Vodyane, Shirokine, using 82 mm and 120 mm caliber mortars. Only in September 15th, enemy shelled our positions with 41 mines of 82 and 120 mm mortars. Apart from that, on September 12th, once again, Russian occupation forces used grenade launchers and small arms near Stanitsa Luhanska to one more time pull down disengagement of forces and materiel in this area. Also, on September 13th, Russian occupation troops shooted up residential area in Vodyane using 120 mm mortars. Fortunately, there were no casualties among civilians. The situation in the operations area is under full control of the joint forces. Our servicemen opened fire in response to suppress enemy activity and by strictly adhering to Minsk agreements. As the result of the activity of the Russian occupation troops, 6 of our servicemen were wounded in attack. They were quickly transferred to military hospitals where they are being treated. We wish them speedy recovery. We want to inform with the grief that 2 of our defenders were killed in an attack as the result of Russian armed aggression. We express our sincerest condolences to their relatives and loved ones, as well as their combat comrades. According to the information from the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Russian Occupation Forces Command has conducted operational and combat training measures within Russian-led maneuvers Vostok 2018, which are held in Russia. With this aim, new echelons of weapon and special equipment were provided from Russia to the temporarily occupied territories of Donetsk and Luhansk region. Also, Russian military authorities continue to increase the number of forces near the border with Ukraine. In particular, under cover of military exercises Vostok 2018, Russian forces from eastern region were redeployed along the border with Ukraine. As for other news, today on September 17th, United Kingdom Secretary of Defense Gavin Alexander Williamson is an official visit to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Ministry of Defense of Ukraine General Stepan Poltorak accompanied him. Both sides held meeting and discussed current security situation in the world and in eastern Ukraine and the ways of further cooperation between Ministry of Defenses of Great Britain and Ukraine. Within the framework of the visit to the United States, the Ukrainian delegation led by First Deputy Minister of Defense Ivan Rusnak held talks with United States DoD officials in Pentagon. The parties focused on discussions of system of development of NCO and officers' education, personnel management, manning, formation of military reserve, implementation of a gender policy within the armed forces, rehabilitation, participation of Ukrainian officers in military cooperation activities, their involvement in NATO joint multinational staffs, development of military institutions, U.S. assistance in support in 2019 and 2020. Ivan Rusnak held a range of talks with senior officials of the U.S. Department of Defense. The U.S. party praised the progress in the Ukrainian army transformation and expressed readiness to provide further support to Ukraine. On September 13th, 13th Separate Battalion of the 95th Separate Air Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian Air Assault Forces is going to Germany, where they will participate in Sabre Junction military exercises held by U.S. Command Europe to evaluate readiness of U.S. Combat Brigade. In general, Sabre Junction maneuvers have started on September 4th and will last until the end of this month, but the Ukrainian military will take part only in active phase of these exercises. The representatives of Kiev Association of Defense Attachés have visited tactical training of Reserve Corps as invited by Chief of General Staff General Viktor Muzhenko. According to General Muzhenko, more than 160,000 reservists of the first-level operative reserve have already undergone training. Meanwhile, service members of second-level operative reserve are undergoing 45-day training consisting of 2 phases. Defense attachés shared their impression and praised the practical training of the Ukrainian military. The Chief of General Staff also valued the crews and units' actions and underscored the motivation of the operative reserve personnel. That's all information from us for now. Captain Sharavara from the Press Center of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine.